That was so good. Well, we're going to hear really briefly from one more guy who was going to be here but couldn't make it this weekend. Carson talking about a bunch of bachelors. Well, I just met one who was on the show this last season, and a wonderful guy. Actually, Sheila happened to introduce me to him. You know so many different people. Well, I got to talk with Mike Planeta, and he was the fifth guy on The Bachelor that kind of didn't end up with the ring like you did, Angela. But he did get to do something for his faith in a similar way. And on the show, he did that very thing. He said, I'm willing to wait for my wife. Now, Mike's 31 years old, and on public television there in front of everyone, he declared his love to this girl in this way. I will love you and be the best lover because I'm willing to wait for you. I'm willing to have that kind of self-control. So I want you to look up his video. In order for time, we're not going to watch that one that's on TV that you can take a look on YouTube. But I'm going to show you a video that he made directly for us. And so it's his word to you tonight. So listen to this video from Mike Planeta from The Bachelor.
What's up, University Church Young Adult Conference? My name is Mike, and I totally wish I was there with you guys this weekend in person. But since I'm not, I wanted to send you guys a video. I want to encourage you guys, and then I want to challenge you guys as well. Listen, I think we all know that this journey towards purity or waiting till marriage or whatever we want to call it is not an easy one. It's filled with a lot of obstacles. It's filled with a lot of misunderstanding. It's filled with a lot of persecution, and it's filled with a lot of temptation at the end of the day. But I want to encourage you guys and let you know that a lot of people are running this race. A lot of people are going through very similar things that you are. But we can either view this as a burden, or we can view this as an opportunity where God is refining us and he's teaching us so many good habits, patterns, and he's essentially molding us for our future spouse. Listen, God does not want us to not have fun. He just wants us to experience that fun to the fullness. And that's why he wants us to have understanding within this process. And he wants us to have understanding of how great sex can actually be. And that's within marriage. I want to challenge you guys. One thing I always say about this topic is you better be able to understand your why to what you're doing, because if you don't, it's never going to be sustainable. Especially in today's culture, so many people are going to ask you, well, why are you waiting? What's your reasoning or whatnot? And if we can't stand firm and have an understanding of what our actual why is, then we're never going to be able to get people to understand, why it's so important to us. That why comes in Scripture. God perfectly lays it out for us. He tells us exactly why it's important, whether that's through a layer of protection, whether that's through a layer of understanding. God is really preparing us for our future spouse. And how beautiful is that? I view it as like a love story. When I read Scripture, when it talks about the topic of sex, it shows such a beautiful sacrifice. I mean, look at Jesus, the way that he lived. Jesus came on this earth and he led with service. He chose to sacrifice so much to the extent to lay down his life for us. And that's what God is calling us to do for our future spouse. Saying, listen, this is a desire that all of us have, right? But if we can take that desire outside of ourselves and we can put our future spouse, even if we don't know them yet, if we can put our future spouse before ourselves, it's going to unlock such a layer of trust, such a layer of beautiful relationship by putting them first and making them feel honored, so that when the time comes, that you can have such a beautiful moment together where you can be like, I've thought about you from day one. And even if you have not made that decision prior, but this is a decision you're coming with now, you still have the opportunity to put your future spouse, starting today, before yourself. And what a beautiful gift that is to be able to offer, our future spouse. And that's what God's calling us to do. He's calling us to view this with such a level of service. Guys, I want to encourage you. This is such a beautiful thing. I'm in it with you. I'm 31, waiting until marriage, but I know my future wife is out there. And I know that when the time comes, we're going to be able to experience such a beautiful moment together because we chose to serve each other. Guys, I'm praying for you. I'm so excited for what the future has for you. And know that you're not in this journey alone. All right, guys?